Hello, this is Bobby. I'm here today to show you how to create an APA-style reference page in in-text citation for a book, which includes textbooks. Today I'm going to be using a PowerPoint titled Reference Page Citations APA 7, which is located in our Canvas course shell. This PowerPoint describes how to create APA-style reference pages and how to use APA-style in-text citation for all of the different types of sources you will use this semester in our course. When you are writing in this course, it'll be important to remember that anytime you use information from an outside source in your writing, it is important you use APA-style in-text citation to give credit to the author or authors of the sources you are using. When I write scientifically, I find it easiest to start by creating my reference page first. One of the reasons for this is because the source listed in the in-text citation needs to match the entry for the source on the reference page. Therefore, if you start with the reference page, you'll know exactly what to write in your in-text citation. So I'm going to go to this portion of the PowerPoint which describes how to create a reference page citation for a textbook. One really important thing to know when you're citing a book is if that book was ever printed. If the book was printed, then you need to cite the book like a printed book, even if you are accessing the digital version. This most likely applies to the people in this class who are viewing an electronic version of our textbook. Our textbook has been printed, therefore you need to cite it as a printed book. When citing a printed book or creating a reference page citation for a printed book, you should use this template. And the information that needs to be entered into this template is the author's last names, or the author's last name or author's last names, and their first initials, the year of publication, the title of the textbook, including any subtitles or edition numbers, and the name of the publisher. So I'm going to again use this book, Life, the Science of Biology, 10th edition by Sadava, Hillis, Heller, and Berenbaum. And the first thing you need to do when creating this citation is to locate the authors. And here you can see the authors are located on the inside cover of the book. I tell you to look at the inside cover because that's probably where you're going to find their first initials. You'll often find their last names on the outside cover, but on the inside cover is where you can find their first initials. And once you know the author's last names and first initials, you put them into the template. Notice here that I've started with Sadava. That's the first name. If I go back really quick, that's the first name listed, and it's really important that you list the authors in the name that they're, or in the order that they're listed on the source. So we have Sadava, Hillis, Heller, and Berenbaum, and I have to write their names in that same order. I start with their last names, followed by a comma, and then their first initial capitalized with a period after any first initial. You can add up to 3 first initials. It depends on what's on the source. So I've added my authors, and now the next thing I need to add is the year. So you go back to the source and you find the publication year. In most books, this is the year of publication is on one of the inside cover pages. You might need to search towards the top of the document if you're using an electronic version, or you may need to search the internet. This particular book was printed or published in 2014. So I'm going to enter 2014 into my reference page citation. The next thing that I'm going to have to add is the title of the textbook, including any subtitles and edition numbers. Well, as I mentioned before, the title of the book is Life, the Science of Biology, 10th edition. This can typically be found at the top of the document if it's an electronic version, or on the outside or inside covers of a printed book. So what I do is I add Life, the Science of Biology, 10th edition, into my template. Notice that the title is italicized for a book, and that only the first letter of the title and subtitle are capitalized. The only exception to this is if you're using proper nouns. Proper nouns are also capitalized. Otherwise, every time you write a title in APA format on your reference page, you're going to not capitalize that title. And that's really strange for most of us. The only thing that is capitalized, again, is the first word of the title and the first word of the subtitle, and any proper nouns. And then I add in 10th edition. And the way this is done in APA is it's 10 with a TH. The TH is not superscript or put up higher, and then ED period for addition. And notice that there's a period after the title, after the addition number. If there is no addition, you can leave it off of your title. And for our textbook and our class, just leave the addition off of the title. But for this source, Sadava, Hillis, Heller, and Berenbaum, the title is Life, the Science of Biology, 10th edition. The next thing I need to find is the publisher. And a publisher, again, is often found in the inside cover of a printed textbook or at the top of an electronic document. In this case, it's Sinauer Associates, Inc., and I'm going to enter that into my reference page citation. And I have now completed my reference page citation. So I have the author's last names followed by first initials separated by commas. One thing that I wanted to add that I forgot to add when I added the author's names is notice that there is an and symbol before the last author. And when you are listing your authors on any APA citation reference page, you're going to want to add that and symbol before the last author. You list all of the authors that are listed on the source, and then the and symbol before the last author. That's followed by the year of publication, 2014, then the title, Life, the Science of Biology. Notice that the title is italicized, and the first word of the title and subtitle are capitalized. The rest of the title is not capitalized. 10th edition by Sinauer Associates, Inc. Now I have my reference page for any writing that I want to do. And so I'm going to come out of the PowerPoint specifically because I want to show you what then you can do with this. So I've created a Google Doc and a Word doc to show how to use this reference page citation. Now, I've intentionally left this without what's called the hanging indent, and I've waited right now to talk about this hanging indent. But when we're creating a reference page, each of our entries, the first line needs to be flush to the left side of the document, and then the second, third, or fourth lines need to be indented. And the way that you do this in Microsoft Word is that you highlight your entry, come up to the top of the screen to Format, and then you go to Paragraph. And under Paragraph, under Indentation, there's a you can change the special indentation to hanging, and then the go-to is 0.5 inches, and that's what would be called the default. And the default 0.5 inches is perfect. I hit OK, and notice that indents my second line. And that's how what it's called a hanging indent, and it should be a 1/2 inch hanging indent for all of your sources. The other thing is on your reference page, this word references that goes over your reference page citations needs to be center justified. And right now it's left justified, and if I want it center justified, I press this center text button, and now this text is what we call center justified. So the word references is center justified, and then below it I have my reference page entries, and each of them uses a hanging indent, and that means the second, third, and fourth line of the entry is indented. And this really helps the reader identify where one citation starts and another one ends. It's very similar in Google Docs. If I go to Google Docs, and so here I have a reference page with all of these entries in it. Now you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different entries in here. And so first I'm going to center justify the word references, same way in Google Docs. I'm going to come up here to Align and hit center, and now that's center justified. Now, to get that hanging indent in Google Docs, you highlight your entries. It's similar, but a little bit different. Come up to Format, and this time you're going to go to Align and Indent. And then you come down to the bottom of this pop-up menu and click on Indentation Options. Click on Indentation Options, and I'm going to click Hanging Indent. It goes to 0.5. I'm going to make sure that my left is set at 0. Hanging indent at 0.5. Hit Apply. And now I have a hanging indent for all of my sources on my reference page in Google Docs. And you can see this makes it really easy to see where one citation starts and ends and where the other one begins because of those nice hanging indents. And so you should always be using a hanging indent. And so I'm going to come back to my Word document. So now my reference page is built. And so now how do you cite this source now that we've made the reference page? And so I need a left justified cursor here, sorry. And so let's say I'm using the source and I've read in this source that ribosomes connect amino acids to form polypeptides. Okay, so I've got this information from this textbook. So what does this in-text citation mean? So it's as simple as giving credit to these sources or to this source by adding the author's last names and year of publication to your writing. I have included in the Canvas course shell examples on how to do this for a different number of authors. And so, for example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 authors that we need to cite in this writing. So if you come to using in-text citation and look for the section, so this first section says using a source with 1 author, using a source with 2 authors, using a source with 3 authors. And it says list the first author's name listed on your reference page, followed by the abbreviation et al. In the year of publication. And there's a couple of examples on this page. Again, this Word document and a PDF version is located in our Canvas course shell. But what I'm getting at here is that our source has 5 authors. Therefore, when I give credit to the authors, all I have to do for this specific source is list the first author's last name, Sadava, and then I write et, et, and then al, al period, comma, and then the year of publication. And the year of publication here is 2014, period. Now, this is in-text citation, parenthetical, APA style in-text citation. I'm giving credit to Sadava et al. Notice that Sadava matches the first author's name on the reference page. So if somebody was reading this, ribosomes connect amino acid to form polypeptides, well, and they want to know where that information came from, they look here, Sadava et al., they can go down to the reference page, find Sadava, and read the source and know where the information came from. There's another way that you can do this. So if I want to use the same sentence here, ribosomes connect amino acids to form polypeptides. The other thing that I can do is I can add the citation at the beginning of the sentence. So I can say something like, according to Sadava et al. Period 2014 in parentheses. So only the year of publication goes in parentheses in this case. And then I hit a comma. Then I write ribosomes connect amino acids to form polypeptides. So it now says, according to Sadava et al., 2014, comma, ribosomes connect amino acids to form polypeptides. So either way works, where you can put your citation at the end of the sentence or put the citation at the beginning of the sentence. The choice is really up to you. But you should only do it once in your writing. At the very least, if let's say you create a whole paragraph where all of the information came from your textbook, then you could just put one citation at the very end of the paragraph before the last period. So here it is. Here's an example right here. Using parenthetical APA style in-text citation in your writing when all of the information in a paragraph comes from the same source. So I've written this paragraph. All of the information comes from Trumdor et al. 2016. Notice that I just put the citation at the very end of the paragraph before the period. So please look at the resources that are in our Canvas course shell and let me know if you have any questions. I hope this helps. Talk to you soon.